I wanted to start this video by talking about a film which is in 2010 and it's called She's Out My League. And the first lesson I wanted to say about friendships: when a girl is out of your league, you don't know what to do, you don't know what to say. When it comes to your good looking friend and a girl that's out of your league, the only reason why you match them together is because they look good together. You don't think about values, like what is it that people value. You don't think about their wants and needs in a relationship, but if people also want the same thing. And you don't think about the compatibility to see if they both get along, because it's one thing to look good, but it's another thing to make sure that each person gets along. And that's really my first point, because anyone can have chemistry, and there's no denying if people have chemistry, but when it comes to compatibility, it's something that's more long term. Compatibility is something that you don't have with many people. If you ended up with someone that's compatible and you no longer want the same things and you happen to break up, that should not stop you from moving on to someone else that is more aligned with you. If you have chemistry with someone and you don't really have that much compatibility, opposites can attract, which is the exception, but it isn't really the rule. When it comes to compatibility being high, it's just mainly focused on what you want in a relationship, but then also your values and who you are as a person. You start to assume that your good looking friend will get with the girl that is out of your league. So that's why, rather than just looking at the physical standpoint, you need to also look at people's chemistry, their compatibility, and everything that I just mentioned before that. Another lesson that I wanted to point out before I move on to my second point: why is it that when it comes to a girl that's out of your league, your friends start to question it? Now, why is it that you're with that girl? Why is it that you can get that girl but I can't? But when it comes to your good looking friend, they just don't question it at all. The good looking friend in the film, he was probably rated at 8, while all the other friends were rated at 6, whether it was a high 6 or a low 6. And I'm saying this because it could be based on confidence, your lifestyle, your game. And game in this case is really social skills. When it comes to other people, they can look at it from an objective point of view, where they see that a guy is good looking, but then they're the ones that are getting all the options. But then because they're getting all the options, you think a girl out of your league would not be interested in you. Also, when a girl is out of your league and she's interested in you, for example, she wants to spend more time with you, she shows up on time to the date, she wants to go places which she never really goes to normally, but then also she's standing close to you or sitting close to you, and they actually want to know you as well. I wanted to say this because if your good looking friend is rated at 8, but then all your other friends, including yourself, rate yourself as 6, that doesn't mean that you stay where you are, because in the film they just accepted those ratings. But if they actually did something to improve their looks, they are able to improve the girls that they are with if they start to improve their looks. My next point: when it comes to your rating and you choose to stay there and you don't want to do anything about it, and you have decided to accept your rating, not only do you not catch up to your good looking friend, but then also you prevent yourself from really improving. And that really starts with you, because if you think a girl is out of your league, but then you don't do anything, you don't say anything, you never really know if they were going to reject you. Because if the girl that's out of your league starts to choose your friend all the time, they start to choose your good looking friend, this is a clear sign that you just need to move on, because there's plenty of girls for you to really meet. And again, I'm speaking from a guy's perspective, because it's the same principle for like women as well. If a good looking guy doesn't give you attention because he has more options, it just means that you need to look for a guy that will give you attention. But then also, if you improve your looks and you suggest ways of how they can improve their looks, you both become a good looking couple. I do get it that when it comes to looks, it's very subjective, but when it comes to guys, they're more attracted to looks, but then when it comes to girls, they're more attracted to the person that the guy becomes. So that's what I'm going to say, because girls seem to be attracted to character and ambition, but when it comes to guys, it's more about looks. Another lesson that I'm going to say: when it comes to the person that you want to be with and your friends, no one's really the same. No one looks the same, no one thinks the same, and no one wants the same things. And even if you give people what they want, they may do something to really like ruin that. So that's what I'm going to say, because people can have what they want, but they still choose to ruin it. I'm going back to friendships, which is the video topic. Because in the film, when it came to Kirk, he took his advice from Devon, Jack and Stainer. And what happened, those friends wanted what was best for Kirk, because they didn't want Kirk to go back to Marnie, which was his ex, before he got with Molly. But I'm saying this because you want to focus on who you take your advice from, and to be careful that you don't take everything that people say to you, because everyone is just experiencing things for the first time. But then also people do make mistakes, and people are more likely to change their mind if evidence is clear and it's really good. In some cases, your friends don't really know every single thing and every single detail about the relationship that you could possibly be in. Because let's say a girl's out of your league, and this is before you're dating. They do everything correctly, where they spend time with you, it's quality time, but then they're also getting to know you, they're being on time, and they're also showing you, rather than just telling you, that they're into you. Because your friends don't know what's going to be in the future, they just assume that you're not going to get with that person, and they start focusing more on your looks. Because if you look good, and the girl that you're with looks good, they're not going to question anything. But then when the girl looks good, but then you don't, and you happen to let yourself go, sometimes as the guy, you may overcompensate for the girl that's out of your league. So you may just do extra, and you may treat her differently. That is why your friends start to question if the girl is really good for you, because they haven't really met the girl. But then also, the girl that's out of your league, you start to treat her differently compared to any other girl. When it came to Kirk and his friends, they were all working at the airport. And funny enough, what happened, Marnie, which was Kirk's ex, sorry to spoil the film for you, she worked at the airport as well. What happened with Marnie and Molly, the reason why I'm making this comparison is because the reason why Molly was out of Marnie's league is because Molly, she wanted the best for Kirk, but then Kirk, he wanted to be a pilot. When Kirk wanted to be a pilot, Molly had a similar interest of her own, but then when it came to Marnie, she didn't really give Kirk the opportunity to really be the best version of himself. Instead, Kirk was just agreeing with every single thing that Marnie did, and also what Marnie said. When you agree with someone all the time, you don't have opinions of your own. And that's the difference between Marnie and Molly, because Kirk began to be insecure when Molly was out of his league, and Kirk didn't really believe that Molly was into him. But then what she did, she was showing him all the signs. Also, Molly kept on reassuring him so that he can stop being insecure, because when Kirk became insecure, he started looking for insecurities in Molly. So when Kirk became insecure, he started to see if Molly had insecurities of her own. And that's why Molly was out of Kirk's league, because the way other people think about her is in a positive way, but then also she's acting like that as well. And I'm going to add that when it came to really Kirk and his friends, they were all in the same environment, so they had things to naturally talk about. And sometimes when it comes to you and your friends, you may lie that things are going well in a relationship just so that you're not left out, and so that your friends don't really laugh at you. But if you was really honest with your friends of what's going on in a relationship, would they actually help you, or would they laugh at you? That is what I wanted to say, because your friends know how you act in a relationship. They know how you act around them and other people. So that's why Kirk's friends, Devon, Jack and Stainer, they didn't want him to get back with Marnie, because Marnie, if she can't get along with Kirk's friends, but then instead she gets along with his family, that isn't really every single person that Kirk is around. I do get it that when you're with someone, your friends don't have to get along with your partner, but they just need to respect you in the first place. And when it came to Marnie, you could already tell that Kirk's friends don't want them to get back together. Sometimes when you like someone, you forget that sometimes it can be one-sided. When it came to Marnie, she was looking for what she can receive from Kirk all the time. So she was just taking away things from Kirk. And that's what happens when you show girls more about your resources. They're more likely to use you if they're not really into you. But if they're actually into you, you can then provide resources, and then you can have a good time through that way. If a girl is into you, she's going to spend more time with you, and then you can add resources to it. So that really amplifies the attraction. In other words, increase the attraction. And another thing that I'm going to say, because Kirk, he didn't really have confidence in himself, but he had confidence in other people and in his friends. And I'm going to say this because when it came to Kirk, his confidence came from other people, the people that he was dating. In this case, it was Marnie and Molly, and Kirk put his confidence into them so much that if they didn't feel anything towards him, he'll then end up depressed, he wouldn't know what to do. When he's by himself, he won't really have the confidence. So that's why Molly is out Marnie's league and Kurt's league, because she had the confidence even if she was by herself. And you could tell because people thought positively about her, and even her friend Patty, she seems to be doing well for herself. And that's the thing, because when you're not insecure and you're confident in yourself, the friends that you have around you are similar as well. I have two more things to say, and when I say bro code, what do you think I mean by bro code? Because for example, you know when your friends are with a girl, even if you do like that girl, you would not be with that girl to respect your friend. When it came to the film She's Out of My League, what happened, Kirk and Molly, they started seeing each other in the beginning, and then they took a break because Kirk didn't really introduce himself to her parents. Later on in the film, Kirk and Molly, they got back together because Kirk's friends helped them to be back together. When it came to Kirk and Molly, they had more things in common than Kirk and Marnie. Another lesson that I learned from the film She's Out of My League is because you don't want your friends to get with a girl that you liked or a girl that you dated. When it comes to your friends, they won't go for a girl that you liked or a girl that you dated because they respect you as a person. But then also there's plenty of other girls for you to choose from. And I'm saying bro code because when it comes to a girl that's out of your league, no matter how you feel towards her, you just can't do it. You knew, for example, that your friends like that girl, which is out of your league, but then also they had the opportunity to date her, but then it didn't work out because they broke up. And you can no longer go back to your friends if you choose to go with that girl, and then what happens, you break up, you can't go back to them for advice. So the last thing that I'm going to say, which is kind of similar, so for example, if a girl's out of your league and your friendship isn't strong enough at the beginning, it's more likely to break because you have no boundaries, you can't do things on your own, but then also all you're talking about is really girls because, for example, it's not about who gets the most girls, but it's more about getting a girl that you can build a future with. And that's the difference between getting most girls and a girl that you can build a future with, because there's a difference between high quality girls and low quality girls, and girls which are high interest and a girl that's low interest. And some friends don't have a strong enough friendship that anything can really break it, because if a girl that's out of your league likes 2 or more people, in other words multiple people in your friendship group, they're more likely to do whatever they want, to date whoever they want. And the guys in the friendship, which I'm talking about from a guy's perspective, they're more likely to fight and argue with each other than to really confront the girl, because they assume the girl's innocent, but then also they're really blinded by like the girl's looks. That friendship is basically over because you can no longer trust your friend, but then also anything can really break your friendship because you don't have boundaries in the first place. That is all I really wanted to say, because you need to make sure that your friends are there for you, that they want what's best for you, but then also your friendship doesn't break just based on anyone or anything. So yeah, that's all I got to say, and I'll see you in another video.